my life. Welcome to the Soul Infused Monday Show, episode 228. I'm your host, Sonia Bueno de la Torre, and today's topic is how to handle anger. And if you're watching this live, say hello, leave a comment below. If you're watching this on the replay, on a video replay, say hello as well. I always check all the comments live and on the replay. And as we are live here, I'm going to take a moment so that you can jump in. I recommend to have a pen and a paper, remove any distractions, and I'm going to get started in just a minute. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Tine. Wonderful. I love this. Now, if you're already here, just take a nice deep breath. Take a moment to relax your body. Just take a moment to arrive, to set yourself up in the best possible way. And I'm going to get started in just a few moments. Adjust it here. Can you guys hear me well? Hi, Barbara. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So I'm going to get started. Today's topic is a big topic. How to handle anger is a huge topic, and I'm only going to scratch the surface here today. And I want to give a disclaimer that depending on your personal situation, depending on your own background, conditioning, trauma, generational conditioning, and wounds, you might need to do more deeper inner work, and that's okay. However, my intention is to give you some tips and some ways of handling anger in a healthy and conscious way. When it comes to anger, there is often, especially for spiritual people or also women, not in general, but not 100%. But in general, for spiritual people or in the spiritual world or for women, there is a conditioning around anger being something bad. That anger is bad, is not good, is not spiritual. We shouldn't be angry. We should be loving and kind all the time. Now, I want to start this show by removing that as a huge block, because anger is not necessarily bad. Anger is an emotion that we experience as human beings the same way than any other emotion. And it has value and it has merit. And I'm going to give you a few examples. But I want to start this show with a different approach to look at anger from a different perspective. Anger is designed also to protect us, to create enough energy to break through something. If you are someone that is completely disconnected to the energy of anger, it will also not be available to you when you actually need it to protect yourself or maybe even to survive. Anger is an energy. Now, there are ways where you can use anger in a harmful, destructive, and even intentional way to hurt other people. That comes with intention and out of wounding and unconsciousness. But anger itself, as an emotion, as an energy, is not necessarily bad, good. It is simply an energy. And it has a lot of value if you can be aware of it and you have ways to consciously deal with it. I wanted to bring that in. Also, when it comes to anger, sometimes it's easy to trigger things because we are very conditioned around it. So if you notice while you're listening to me or you hear something that you don't agree with or that triggers you, that's great. Welcome it. And obviously, I'm giving you my experience and my approach, and you obviously don't have to agree with everything I say. However, I do believe that, especially in the field of esoterics, spirituality, new age, anger has a bad taste that is actually harmful, that can be harmful to your own health and well-being, because often then it's suppressed or it's denied, or we fight it, we judge it, and that creates an unhealthy bonding and attachment to it. Does this make sense? And I'm curious to hear about what is your struggle with anger. So I'm always happy if you share with me too. Also, before I share 4 tips or 4 strategies to handle anger, I want to make a distinction. There is anger that you're experiencing within yourself, where you can handle your own way of handling anger that is coming from you, meaning that you feel anger, that you experience being angry. And then there is how to handle anger when it comes from other people, how to handle anger from someone else. These are 2 different things to approach, and I want to make this distinction. Today, I'm going to focus on how to handle anger within yourself. How to handle anger when it comes from someone else is a bigger topic, another topic. If you believe that is valuable for you and you want me to talk about this in a different episode, let me know and I will do so. But today I'm going to focus on how to handle anger within yourself. And in my experience, looking back into my life, I used to be a total pleaser. I used to be only nice. Anger, I was so disassociated from anger that I was not even in touch with it. And a part of me was even proud that I didn't feel anger, as it made me better than other people back then. I was very young on my journey, and I didn't really realize that I had a lot of anger within me, but I was not able to access it. And it actually did affect me health-wise, emotionally, and mentally very negatively. And I struggled a lot with depression. And in my experience over the last decades that I've been working on myself and with a lot of people who experience depression, there is nearly every time, not always, but most of the time, an element of repressed anger. I sometimes say a depressed person is an angry person, but an angry person that is not expressing its anger. Just wanted to share that. Hi, Amy. Good to see you. MJ, Debbie. Fantastic. Let me dive into the first thing I would suggest or recommend when handling anger. And please feel free to ask any questions, leave a comment. If you are listening to this on Insight Timer or Spotify or on any other podcast platform, and you're not able to leave a comment, leave me a review by the end or send me a message. It means always so much to me when I read it. And thank you for your reviews and comments and messages. I got so many in the last couple of weeks and they really fill up my heart. So if you want to, and you feel it in your heart to take a few minutes after the show to leave a review, I super appreciate it. First thing you want to do when it comes to anger, handling anger. Of course, you get to be aware that there's anger, because often we are so conditioned to be nice, and especially not to experience anger to begin with, that sometimes you're not even aware of it. But let's say you are aware of it. you feel anger. Something happened, you're triggered, you got hurt, something didn't happen the way you wanted it to happen, and you feel anger. Now, the first thing you want to do in order to handle that well and healthy, and it leading to something valuable, you want to accept it. And it sounds easier said than done. And I can tell 9 out of 10 people that I talk to, approach, or work with when it comes to anger, the first thing they do is they judge it and try to deny it or try to put a damper on it. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to accept the fact that you feel angry. And you take a deep breath and you tell internally, it's okay that I feel angry. It's okay that I feel angry. I have the right to feel angry. It's a feeling. What you do with it is a different story, and how you perceive, how you proceed with your behavior is also a different story. But the first thing you want to do is to accept it and remove judgment around it. It sounds very simple. It is simple, but for most people, this is a very challenging piece. First, accept that you're angry, that you feel anger. See it as something, as an experience that is normal. It's a human behavior. If you're struggling with anger in a severe way and you really struggle with it, then of course get more help. However, the first thing you want to do, approach anger with acceptance, because there's also value in it. Imagine this for a moment. This is coming up. Imagine you are not in touch with your anger and you judge it. Now something happens, you go out in the world and somebody does something to you that is harmful, for example. It's abusive. And if you're not in touch with the energy of anger or with the energy of protection in that case, you might be nice. And it happens to women, not only to women, also to young boys and men, however, especially with women. That a lot of women are so conditioned not to be in touch with their anger, that in harmful situations, they are not able in that moment to react protective of themselves, because they're still having that program of being nice and pleasing. So it's essential for you to be able to see anger as also a valuable emotion and energy that you want to embrace in the whole spectrum of all the emotions and experiences as a human being while on this planet. So first, accept it. Say, it's okay that I feel this way. Remove judgment around it. First thing, you accept. Now, second, you want to acknowledge it. First, you accept it. Second, you acknowledge it by meaning check in, acknowledge that you are feeling a certain way because of something that happened, that it was a trigger. Something happened that created that emotion, that created that experience of feeling angry. And by acknowledging it and looking at it, you can also start detaching from being identified with it. You don't pretend it's not there, but it's an experience. So you want to acknowledge whatever happened that created this anger in you. Now, the third thing might be more challenging or will take also help or time. The third thing is express it. And bear with me, because there are important things to know about expressing anger. Now, when I say express it, I'm not saying about express it to someone, yelling at someone and being unconscious, irresponsible, and hurtful with your anger. No. But what I mean is you got to move the energy. You want to express it in some way, because if you don't express it, it will be suppressed. And it will come out in other ways that are going to be harmful towards yourself and other people. So accept, acknowledge, express. Take a deep breath. and give you a few tips on how you can express it when you feel angry and you don't know what to do with it. Movement is a big one. You can do either vigorous exercise, moving or jumping up a few times, dancing, something, but you want to use it consciously to release that energy of anger. You don't want to bypass it. You don't want to numb it. You don't want to pretend it's not there. Don't deny it. Don't fight it. Express it through movement. Can be exercise, can be simple movement, can be an impactful, something that really helps you shift your energy. Express it. Another way of expressing it is to use sound and words. For example, taking a cushion and screaming into a cushion for a moment to express anger is extremely helpful. Even with someone, let's say you are with a person, it could be your child, a partner, someone, a friend, and you feel you're getting super angry and you don't want to let it out on that person. Simply saying, I did this just a couple of days ago. You go and say, I feel so angry right now. I'm going to just go in my room, going to scream in a cushion to let it out, and then I come back. It's so powerful. We arrived here in Costa Rica, and the one thing that was super important to me is that we had good internet connection. Now, it took them, they said it would work. It took them days to get it fixed. It was a nightmare. And I held myself up for quite a good time. And one day, when I felt like no one was really taking it seriously enough, I took over. I called the companies. I was with the technicians for 2 hours working on fixing it myself. At some point, I felt so angry. And I said to my friend, which is like, Barbara, I'm going to go into my room, going to scream in a cushion, and then I'll come back. And she was like, okay, yeah, go. And because I've done so much work and I'm in touch with my anger and I don't get triggered that easy anymore, it didn't took a long time. I went in, I yelled into the cushion because I didn't want to keep that energy inside of me. I simply wanted to express it. I didn't feel the urge to need to express it to that person or anyone else. I wanted to remove or release that angry energy and without judgment. And that was super helpful. So if you sometimes feel angry and you don't know what to do with it and you have that helpless anger, go grab a cushion, yell, and let it out. You want to express it. Another way to express anger is to share it. And I'm not saying screaming at someone, but sharing. You want to express that you feel angry. You can say simply, I just want to express that I feel angry, so that you don't swallow it down. Does this make sense? Is this helpful? I want to take a moment here, pause here for a moment, check your comments, and let me know if this is helpful. And then I'm going to repeat the few things I said already. When expressing it, what helps is movement, exercise, sound, voice, screaming, or sharing. There are way more ways to express anger in a healthy way, but I'm giving you a few tips here today. And I have one more, and that's a very important one, but I want to check your comments here real quick. Therese, hello, everything is resonating, thank you. Yes, I see all your comments, fantastic, it's very good, love it, yes, let it out and sharing, yes, okay, perfect. Now, the other thing you want to do, besides of accepting, acknowledge, expressing it, you want to also dig deeper and do the work, especially if it's something reoccurring, something that is affecting your life in an unhealthy way. You want to work with someone on it. I do this with my clients. I do this in my group calls. And you want to work with someone. If you resonate with me, you can do this with me, or get a coach, a healer, a therapist, a friend, A friend is not for the professional help, but if you have a friend that you know can support you when you feel angry and you don't want to swallow it, and you feel, I want to be able to handle my anger better, get support and dig deeper and check and find out and heal the underlying trauma or wounding that is actually either causing you to repress your anger or to overdo the anger. And often when we are overdoing anger, like when we get overly angry, because it's the other side of the spectrum. One side of the spectrum is you are not in touch with your anger or you're suppressing it, and it will come out in some ways anyway. But it's a conditioning, it's a pattern. And you don't change that just mentally. It's not that you think about it and then you suddenly have a healthy way of handling it. Otherwise, you would have done it already. So you want to do the work. However, you are either suppressed or some people are too angry, so to say, and they freak out very easily and then they feel guilty afterwards. So on both spectrums, there is wounding, there's conditioning, there's patterns and their beliefs that keep this pattern happening. So you want to do the deeper work, check what's underlying so that you can heal that, so that you can handle anger in a more healthy, conscious, and constructive way. And the one other piece I wanted to share about anger when it comes to using it as a healthy tool. Anger also sometimes helps the energy of anger. When you are in touch with your anger, it is also because you feel that something is happening to you that is not in alignment with you, or it's hurtful. And therefore you can set boundaries. Boundaries is a totally different topic that I'm not going to touch base in here, or that I'm not going to touch upon here because it's too big. But if you are not in touch with your energy of protection, anger, survival, and taking care of yourself, it's very hard to set boundaries. And when you don't set healthy boundaries, it will be unhealthy in different ways. And often it even shows up in health issues or chronic disease. Because if you don't set a boundary, your body will, on some level, at some point. So another way to looking at anger is also being to approach it in a healthy and positive way, consciously also with a positive intention, to also help you to stay in alignment, balance, and healthy, because you need that energy. Otherwise, if you don't set boundaries, people can step all over you. You will let things in that are not good for you. And maybe along the line, you can even get sick. So there's so many good ways, or there's so much value when it comes to anger. And if nothing else, I hope that this show today gives you a new perspective to not seeing anger as something bad, not even good necessarily, but certainly not bad, because that's usually where most people are. And to see it as an energy and as an opportunity to learn and grow and heal the wounds underneath. Whether for you it's to work on the suppressed anger that is keeping you locked in certain unhealthy patterns or beliefs or emotions, or if you are someone that is expressing anger too much on the outside and you are hurting other people. Doesn't matter which spectrum you are or in between, because we all get to learn how to handle anger better. Because if everyone learns how to handle anger better, our world would be a different place, because there's a lot of angry people, a lot of hurt people, because when you are hurting people through anger, it's because you have been hurt. Now, it's not your fault that you've been hurt in your childhood or that you have trauma in you, but now it's your responsibility. Without shame or without guilt or blame, but now it's your responsibility. You cannot excuse it. Now it's up to you to do the work so that you become the most healthiest, the most conscious, and the most intentional being you can be in this world to make a difference for yourself and also for the world. I'm going to pause here for a moment. I want to share something important, and I also want to check your comments. So I would like you to tune in for a moment and ask the question, what is the most valuable thing you're getting out of this episode today? Take a moment, take a breath. And I'm also inviting you to get a pen and a paper to write something down real quick. But for now, tune in. What's your biggest takeaway from this show? And please share it either as a comment or leave me a review by the end of the call or by the end of the audio. So take a moment, tune in. What is the most valuable thing that you got out of this show today? And please share it with me. And while you do that, I also want to remind you that I'm doing a special workshop this Saturday, May 14th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time through Insight Timer. It's a one-time only. I'm never going to do this again in that collaboration for that investment. I'm going to teach you a very valuable tool that you can also use when unhooking from anger and how to deal better with triggers. It's called Awaken Your Third Eye and Detach from Negative Attachments. I'm also going to share a tool that I've never shared before in public. It's a triangle of light that is a bit more of an advanced tool, but I'm going to share it because I feel called to do that. So it's an incredible opportunity. I'm going to leave the link here for you in the comment section for you to sign up. It's as a very low investment of $60. It's this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you're not able to join live, you're going to have access to the replay. And it's important for me that you don't miss out on this. It will help you to deal better with triggers. It will help you to really unhook and know how to shift your own energy so that you can manage your triggers inside better. Okay, so it's a really, really empowering workshop, and I invite you to join this Saturday. So that is done. Make a note. Link is here. And if it's not here, go to my website /Insight Timer or send me a note here that you're interested. If you want to join and you don't see the link, make sure that you connect with me. Or if you're on my email list, I sent you an email. Really, really, really great opportunity that is not coming your way anytime soon. So I'm going to complete this. Thank you for letting me talk about this for a minute. And now I'm going to go over your comments because I would love to hear what your biggest takeaways are. See your comments. Here's a comment. Here's a takeaway. Such a beautiful message. There is a value when it comes to anger. Approaching it with curiosity and as an opportunity to grow and heal. Feels so healing to come from this approach. Thank you. My pleasure. And this is a great takeaway. Another takeaway. There is only one person in my life that triggers anything close to anger, but I will analyze this more. I know there's something to learn from this process. Thank you. Oh, my pleasure, Hazel. So happy to have you here. Another takeaway, to see anger as a possibility to learn and grow. Beautiful. Another takeaway, increased awareness of steps of handling anger and how to describe to others as energy. Beautiful. Last takeaway I'm going to share, or maybe another one. Biggest takeaway, if considering anger as an energy that we need to deal with. Okay, I'm going to read this again. Biggest takeaway is considering anger as an energy that we need to deal with. Beautiful takeaway. Another last one, let the negative energy of anger out. And here's a beautiful one. There's nothing wrong with me for having anger. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you with having anger. There would be something wrong with you, even though I wouldn't say that this way, but there would most likely be something wrong with you if you don't experience any anger, because that means you're completely disconnected or denying it, and then it will come out in other ways. And when we are disconnected to anger completely, we are also disconnected to other emotions, because we cannot just disconnect and put one thing in a box. It will affect your whole life. And I want to emphasize that I am not advocating to randomly go out and scream and share and let your anger out to hurt people. I am saying very clearly, you get to take responsibility for your emotions, and you get to do the work that's needed if anger is an issue in your life. But what I'm saying is that that it's healthy and necessary to have anger be there, deal with it, and not suppress it. That's what I'm saying. And that anger as an emotion, like an energy, that's not bad. What the action is that might come out of anger, that might be hurtful, that might not be okay, and that has consequences. However, anger itself as an emotion, as a feeling, has valid or has value, has the right to be there, and it's a part of our human experience. It took me nearly 30 years. It took me nearly 30 years when I was I was already I was in my 30s, so 30. I started my journey. I was around 26, and it took me a few years to even look at anger. So it took me 30 years to get to the point and to see first that I was angry, that it's a good thing, and it took many more years to do the deeper inner work. And now I am okay with anger, and I can protect myself if I need to. And at the same time, especially if you know me, I am a very loving, a very generous, a very kind person. And at the same time, I am very good with setting boundaries, and you don't mess with me, right? Not you, in general. But when women have that more within them, that they can really embrace the whole spectrum, they will also be able to share that with the new generations, with their daughters, and so that less abuse and less hurtful and harmful things happen, because we have a tool inside of us. Is it going to prevent everything? No. But I'm advocating for you to be empowered, for you to have access to that energy that will help you to say no when you need to say no. Okay. I hope this was valuable. It sounds like it was. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to be here, especially because it means you are taking time to work on yourself, to expand your mind, to feed your mind, your body, and your soul. May you have a wonderful rest of your day. May you have an incredible, fantastic, soul-infused week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday at the workshop. And if not on the workshop, I'm looking forward to seeing you again and having you again on the Soul Infused Monday show every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Much love. Keep breathing and embrace anger. Talk to you soon.